everyone, welcome back to Chart Engineers. It's Trader ZS1 here, and today I'm going to be going over the past few weeks price action on Bitcoin and a few alts. Okay, so here we can see we have our price action chart of Bitcoin, and we had our market structure low on the weekly there and our market structure high there on the weekly. As we can see, the market has continued this uptrend, so retraced a little, pushed back up towards the high, and then we did sweep it, and then we did break below the low that created that high. So this does create a weekly breaker zone. So I personally sold all of my spot into Tether, and I'm now expecting price to come down towards this low and potentially this low here at 38k. So yeah, that's all I'm seeing from a weekly perspective. And then let's just go to where we were a few weeks ago, just carrying on from the last recap. So the last recap was on the 11th, so this is where we're just going to move on from. So this was our market structure low, this was our market structure high on the 12-hour, and then we have our 12-hour order block right here. You see prices wicked into it and then continued this uptrend and just pushed up. And then if we go down to the 1 hour, what opportunities did we have in here? Okay, so we wicked in here, not wicked in, pushed into the order block here, and we did have this 1 hour breaker zone inside. So that was your potential long play, just buying the retest here for the market to continue up. Normally I do wait for something inside, and in this case there was nothing, but we do have a few 1 hour breaker zones that formed before the expansion up, and it all starts from this 4 hour sweep. And if we go back to the 1 hour, we then do have another 1 hour raid, and then here's our 1 hour breaker zone, and then our next 1 hour breaker zone, and then we do actually have another sweep inside, and this creates another 1 hour breaker zone. But this one here doesn't give an entry, as you see it break structure here, so I'm just going to delete that for now. So these would have been your more aggressive plays, and in total there's 1, 2, 3 of them to push it up towards a new all-time high. So that's that price action there. And then if we go back to the 12-hour, our new market structure low is going to be there, new market structure high is going to be there. So just again expecting the exact same. We have our 12-hour order block here, and we have 12-hour sweep into it. So I was personally expecting the price to just come back up, and then 1 hour, as you can see, we didn't get any breaker zones forming, so that's that. No entries. You can just delete that, and then you see our market structure did shift to the downside. So now our 12-hour structure is bearish, so I was personally just looking for sells, new low, new high, and then the levels I was looking for sells at was this breaker here, and then we have this breaker here where it's currently rejecting out of right now, and then I had this breaker here, and then also this order block here. So if we came up from here into any of these levels, I would be looking to sell, but we didn't get any sells, so it is what it is. Just patience. We did raid a 12-hour low. If we go to the 1 hour, I was expecting the market to come up and sweep this or these two 12-hour highs, 1, 2, into this breaker here, where I was going to look for sells, but then again, counter trend, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So this was our area, and this here was the MSB. just continued lower. So that was just a losing trade. And then if we continue, the market's still pushing down. So we're still, you know, just looking for sells. And then here, another market structure break. Mark out the low, mark out our new high. And let's delete our old breakers that we're no longer using. So now we are in fact inside this 12-hour breaker zone. And you know, it was below the weekly low as well, and the candle hadn't closed yet. And then have this breaker here. So I was looking for sells, and we did. I'm pretty sure a few of you guys in the group did manage to get in this as well. I posted this pretty much as it was happening. So that was our 1 hour sweep into the 12-hour breaker, you know, in our downtrend. And then that's going to be our breaker zone. Then we had our market structure break, and then it tagged us in pretty much instantly. And as we see, the market continued lower, and then it tapped 3R, and then it just reversed straight back up after sweeping the low, and that was a 12-hour sweep too. So you know, that was a good place to take profit. So that was a 3R trade there. So far all I've had is just the one loss and then that one win. So that's putting me at 2R. Okay, and then so I knew we had a structure break. Was expecting price, you know, continue lower on the weekly, and you know, our 12-hour was still bearish. So we had our 12-hour order block here. As we see, the market continued up, swept above our market structure high. So then I did, you know, I was bearish, so I was looking for sells, and I also did sell my spot. So now I'm no longer trading in with BTC as my margin, and then this trade here was just the loss. So our market structure break here. Let's put that on the bottom, and then yeah, so tagged me in, come down, and then just pushed back up. So that took me out on -1R. And then you see the market continued lower after wicking this high again. I was looking to sell it, but we did, you know, we swept that low first. So now if I go to the 1 hour, that would be our 1 hour breaker zone. And you see we swept the low. So I didn't take the short from there, and you know, it closed below. So then after, I was looking for, you know, another 1 hour breaker zone to form inside, where we did have this 1 hour sweep, and then I was going to look for a close below this low here before looking to get into sells. But instead, you know, the market just continued up. So that was, had about 3 trades in the past few weeks. So just being patient with the market. Don't try to force things when your setup isn't there. And now you see the market's pushed up into this breaker, and now our structure is bullish. So we're going to be looking for buys. I'm either looking for buys in this breaker here or this order block down here. So wherever I get a 1 hour breaker zone, I'll be most likely just getting into a long. So right now, as we can see, we had a 1 hour sweep below, and then we've also had 1 hour sweep above. So the market here is just, you know, consolidating. So just waiting for a structure break on the 1 hour before I get into any positions. So here we have the Ethereum chart, and you know, it's just bullish, strong uptrend. No reason to really get into sells. So now if we go to our 12 hour, as we can see, our structure was bullish, and now here we, you know, closed below. We could have looked for longs in this order block here. So then if we go down to our 1 hour, as we see, just wick straight through it, so no reason to get into longs just yet. If we go back to our 12 hour, new market structure low, new market structure high, and now as we see, markets, you know, retrace back up. I would have started looking for sells, most likely in this order block here. Now if I go to the 1 hour, is there any 1 hour breaker zones? We have a 1 hour sweep, and yep, we do have this 1 hour breaker zone right here. And you see, just continued up, maybe did about 1R, swept this low and then continued up. So I'd say that's just a losing trade. And now if we go back to our 12 hour, we had a bullish structure break, so new market structure high, new market structure low, and then here we have our order block here, and then that's also bottom of our market structure, so we'd expect some price to push up. If we go to the 1 hour, as we can see here, we have a 1 hour sweep, and then again we have another 1 hour sweep, and then these are our 1 hour breaker zones. This one here, I know this isn't a breaker, but in this case the breaker is higher than where the market structure break would come from, so I'd be using whatever makes my area smaller. So I'm using this as my breaker zone, and then this one here, this breaker zone is also very small. So here didn't move much initially, maybe about 1R, and then if you've got the re-entry here, this did, it pushed up quite a lot. So even after a few R, that would have been more than enough to take 3R here, corresponding with these equal highs here and here. So 3R would have been a good target, but then the market showed it didn't show it wanted to slow down. Instead kept sweeping lows, no structure breaks, just pushing up. Again, even here. So then if we go back to our 12 hour, just had our structure break again. So now we get our new market structure high, and then new market structure low, which would then be the low that made that high. So it's just going to be this one here. And other than this, there hasn't really been much else on Ethereum to look at. So that is that. Another market structure break, and now our low is still the same. Where would I look for longs? I'd personally be looking for longs in either this order block here, or I think this was 12 hour sweep, or in this breaker zone here. So these are the two places I'd be looking for longs, and just gotta wait for the opportunity to come. So that's Ethereum, and now we can look at Litecoin. This was quite nice, I'd say, from a 12-hour perspective. Took out our weekly high from 2018, and then if you go down to the 12-hour, we did have our market structure break, and we made the 12-hour breaker zone here, and then we had 12-hour sweep, 12-hour sweep. I know we rated that low, but structure is bearish, so we're going to be looking for sells. Now I do see these lows here, 1, 2, as engineered liquidity. The market's pushing up without taking out this low here. So then we just go down to the 1 hour and we just look for our sells. So initially, what do we have? We have this 1 hour sweep here for the first touch into it, and then we have this market structure break right here. So then just put on bottom, and then this is going to give our 1 hour breaker zone, and this stop loss was very small, and you see market MSB RTO, and this did push down quite a bit, and yeah, 5, 6R, but again not needed. Anything after 3 is enough really. So that's that trade there, and now the market's come back up, and then MSB of that low, and we get another 1 hour breaker zone right here. The highs are a little bit equal, but setup is there nonetheless, and it was a sweep into this breaker zone here too. So the setup's there, and then, you know, market consolidating, moving sideways, swept low, and then it did push up. But other than that, if you was playing it for the longer trade, it's just a losing trade. And then, you know, come up, sweep the high again, 12-hour sweep, and then we have our 1 hour breaker zone here. So, you know, market structure break in the same place, and then that there is the trade, and then ultimately targets would have been, you know, these lows here, and then this did move quite a bit, you know, 3-4 again. And then if we go back to our 12-hour, as we see, the market did sweep this low here, swept into this order block, and then, you know, another 12-hour sweep. So, you know, price is starting to reject quite a lot, showing, you know, bullishness. And if we go down to the 1 hour, where are our breaker zones? We're gonna have one right here. Obviously this area is quite big, you know, wigged in straight away, and then other than that, there's nothing really there. So that's, I'd say, the only trade there. And now, you know, the market's just slowly pushing up. So there's not much to, you know, do with Litecoin until we potentially come down to this order block here. Here we have, you know, the Radium chart, which is a SAM coin, FTX. So just naturally bullish, because anything that guy touches just, you know, goes up. So here we have a weekly sweep, and now if we go to our 12-hour chart, we can see we had a 12-hour breaker zone form. We had the MSB. So now the market, you know, pushed up, swept the high, you know, come back into the breaker zone, create a high low before pushing back up. And now if we go down to our 1 hour, where we can start looking for our entries, if we see inside, we do have this 1 hour sweep, and then again our breaker zone. But I'm going to mark it from the MSB, as, you know, the breaker is higher up. So then here we have, you know, the market inside. No, we did have a sweep, a few 1 hour sweeps inside, but we didn't get no 1 hour MSB, so we're not going to be looking to use those. And you see the market, you know, come in, pushed up. Is there any 4 hour sweeps inside? Doesn't look like it. So yeah, that's literally the only one there. And then we did have another 1 hour sweep here, and then we have our MSB up here, and then the market did wick into it, and then it pushed up again. So there's potential 2 entries there, and then, you know, pushed all the way up towards the all-time high, which was at, you know, $14.8. Now if we go back to 12-hour, structure is bullish, and we have 12-hour sweep inside this order block here. Now if we go down to the 1 hour, where are our potential entries going to be? So it's not really, it's just this here. And, you know, MSB is on this candle here. So, you know, the market pushed up, and it's now just wigged into it, and it does look like we might be creating another 1 hour breaker zone here. We just need that MSB to come from here. So then this gave 1 entry, 2 entries, 3 entries, and now potentially a 4th. So the, you know, alts were definitely much cleaner than Bitcoin over the past few weeks. So might be best to, you know, if Bitcoin's looking slow or not getting many opportunities, to have a look at a few alts, and especially in this type of market where, you know, alts are bullish. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of the weekly recap. If you have any questions, just let me know in the Discord server, or feel free to private message me.